fitting that we take time to honor those who gave their lives that we might live free. And it's only because someone else was willing to die to secure that freedom for you and for me. And as I said, it's why we're able to be here this morning without fear of somebody barging in the door and carrying us all away. In fact, Jesus, looking forward to his own death, his sacrificial death, told his disciples in John 15:13 that greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And just as sailors, soldiers, airmen, and Marines went before us and paid the ultimate price, they not only secured for us liberty with their blood, but they inspired us with their lives and their deaths. So too have men and women gone before us in faith, and they should inspire us with their lives and their deaths for the sake of the gospel. Hebrews chapter 11, and ordinarily when you look at Hebrews, you start at the beginning of the chapter. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start towards the end. Hebrews chapter 11 in verse 32, it says, "And what more shall I say? I do not have time to tell about Gideon, Barak, Samson, and Jephthah, about David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, and gained what was promised, who shut the mouths of lions, quenched the fury of the flames, and escaped the edge of the sword, whose weakness was turned to strength, and who became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies. Women received back their dead, raised to life again. There were others who were tortured, refusing to be released so that they might gain an even better resurrection. Some faced jeers and flogging and even chains and imprisonment. They were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in deserts and mountains, living in caves and in holes in the ground. These were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised, since God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect." We should really honestly ask ourselves if our lives as professed followers of Jesus in any way is comparative to these who gave everything to follow Jesus. If the world was not worthy of them having been in it, do I live in such a way that I am worthy to follow after them? And that says nothing as to whether or not I'm living in such a way to honor the sacrifice that Christ made on my behalf. Am I even worthy of the sacrifice that men and women coming before me have made for the sake of the gospel? Does my life honor them? Does my life honor the gospel? Does my life live up to the price that Christ paid in order for me to be in relationship with him? Continuing in chapter 12, therefore, remember, what's it there for? What I just read, talking about those who've gone before and the price that they have paid. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. There's a picture that's painted here, and Paul paints the same picture in another place. The games, the Olympic Games and other games similar, were very popular during this time period, and so a lot of Paul's illustrations come from those games. And so imagine an arena, even the Colosseum in Rome, and imagine it filled to capacity. And there's some contest going on in the center of the arena. And this is what the writer here is referring to. And imagine a race. And in this race, they're all lined up in their tracks to run around the oval of the interior of the Colosseum. And there's a great cloud of witnesses surrounding them, cheering them on. Only these witnesses, these fans, this audience, were all runners themselves.